My girlfriend told me she was with a friend, but that friend was with me picking out an engagement ring. How do I confront my girlfriend about her lie? God, this is a doozy. I swear my life feels like a movie right now. Sorry for the weird formatting, I'm on mobile, and this is my first time posting on a sub like this. I, 28 male, am planning on proposing to my girlfriend of 3 years, 26 female. Now, I suck at picking out jewellery. I'm the type of guy that doesn't see a problem with heart-shaped jewellery. Seriously, why is it considered so ugly? So every time I want to buy something for my girl, I usually consult one of our mutual friends. My girl's best friends are all friends with me as well, and we all get along well, so asking them for help picking out jewellery is something I'm used to. When it came to pick out a ring, I consulted my girlfriend's best friend, Justine. This is a fake name. Justine and I are quite close, and she knows my girlfriend better than anyone, including me. So when my girlfriend went out to visit her sister and baby nephew, I invited Justine over to the house to help pick out a ring. Justine and I looked through a few catalogues, but decided it was a dead end, and it would be better to go to professionals at a jewellery store. However, I didn't know when my girlfriend would be coming home, so Justine and I thought of a clever text to gauge how much time we had left. I asked her when she'd be coming home, as I was ordering takeout, and wanted to know when to tell them to have the food ready by. She responded by saying it would be a few hours. She met up with Justine to go shopping. Now, obviously this took me by surprise since Justine was standing inside my house. I showed Justine the text, and she looked as confused as I was. It isn't out of the ordinary for my girlfriend to meet with people out of the blue like that for shopping, lunch, etc. She's a very spontaneous person and loves making plans on the fly, so ordinarily I would have believed this text in a heartbeat. However, obviously this had to be a lie. When she came home, she acted completely normal and I played along, but it's been really hard to act like everything's fine. We got takeout, we ate together and cuddled on the couch afterwards. So far, she's caught on a little that something's upsetting me, but I just can't tell her what. Looking at her kills me right now. I don't know what to do. My girlfriend and I have zero trust issues, and we tell each other everything, so this lie is killing me. I want to ask her about it so bad, but if I tell her I knew she was lying, I'd have to explain why, and I really don't want to do that. What do I do? I know she lied to me, but I don't know how to comfort her about it. Should I just forget it? This won't stop gnawing at me. Please help. Update. Hey guys. Oh my goodness, where to begin? My last post got way more attention than I could have ever imagined. Suffice to say, it was a tad bit overwhelming. Seriously, the amount of people begging for an update was a bit dehumanizing in a way. Like I wasn't a person going through something, but more so a story. But I understand. I just want to say thank you so much for all of the support and wonderful comments I got. A lot of great advice that helped me tackle the issue head on. I also got a lot of really kind comments and messages. It was awesome. I also got a lot of comments that made me realise how toxic the internet can be. There were many comments that just said things like, she's cheating, it's over, don't even confront her, just leave her. It's advice like that that can ruin relationships that just need a little work. And thank you to the people that told me to do mean things to my girlfriend, told me I was an embarrassment to my gender, and best of all, told me I should encourage an affair because it would lead to great experiences for me later in life. You gave me a good chuckle. I love those experts on the internet. On to the update. I decided to confront my girlfriend. I thought about using some of the lies people suggested, but they just wouldn't make sense. To say I ran into Justine somewhere, well, I told my girl I had to stay home and do stuff around the house, and that's why I couldn't go with her to see my sister-in-law. To say Justine was helping me pick out jewellery, it didn't really make sense for her to come all the way to our house to help me pick out a piece of jewellery, unless it was a serious piece of jewellery, like an engagement ring. If I just wanted to get her a piece of jewellery as a gift, I'd ask her friends for suggestions, or ask them to send me pictures of jewellery she might like. It all happens over text. None of the excuses you suggested make sense. So I decided to be honest. I basically just said that I knew we'd been thinking about marriage, and she probably knew a proposal was coming soon, so I invited Justine over to help me find her the perfect ring. And that so happened to be the day that she said she was going to see her. So, what's the deal? She immediately started grinning like an idiot and prodding me about proposing and the ring, but then got back onto the topic of where she was, and she confessed what she was really doing. No, she wasn't cheating, and no, she wasn't picking out a ring for me. The amount of times that was commented was crazy. So, some people are dog people and some people are cat people. Well, me, I'm a snake person. I grew up with snakes my whole life, but I never felt I was able to get one because my girlfriend has always been uneasy about living with a snake, which I completely respected. Also, the process of buying and raising a snake is very different than that of buying and raising a dog or a cat. It's quite complicated, so you could imagine my surprise when my girlfriend showed me a picture of her holding the cutest Kenyan sand boa I had ever seen. Needless to say, my girlfriend was going to surprise me with a snake. We're picking her up next week. Let me know if you want a pet tax, because she's so cute. I definitely did not expect this, and I feel bad for ruining the surprise for myself, but oh well. Life is great. Sorry if this isn't the ending that you guys wanted or expected, it's just a snake, no cheating here. Thanks for reading. I love how the TLDR is snake. So if you couldn't be bothered to read it, you would think snake, and you'd be like, okay, she cheated. Because that's like a colloquial term for like someone who's dishonest. That's great. I keep finding long hairs in my bathroom, which is strange because my husband is bald, and I have a short pixie crop hairstyle, using a throwaway account because reasons. This started a few weeks ago while cleaning the bathroom. I found a number of long hair strands over my bathroom wall by the shower. This struck me as very odd because not only does my husband not have hair, I also wear a very cropped short hairstyle, so it is impossible for the strands I found to belong to either me or my husband. Confused, I washed them away but couldn't stop thinking about it. I decided not to mention it but kept looking out for them. There seems to be a pattern that there's hairs appearing when I'm either at work or out for a longer period of time. I feel like I'm going crazy and feel like I shouldn't just immediately go to my husband cheating on me with a longer haired woman. I asked my husband about it and he just shrugged, which makes me more paranoid as surely this is something that's strange, so why is he so blasé about it? I'm starting to think he's playing it down to stop me from finding out the truth. It happened again 2 days ago and I asked my husband about it again. He dismissed it, but this time admitted it is strange, but told me the only explanation is that they must be my hairs. They are not, and after saying so, he'll just ignore me if I bring it up. I don't want to assume my husband is cheating on me and accuse him of such over something so ridiculous, but I'm driving myself into the ground trying to work out how the hairs have got there without my husband dismissing it as nothing. During lockdown we haven't had any visitors that I know of, so we can rule out his sister. I ultimately decided against getting a secret camera set up because ironically enough, I didn't want to betray my partner's trust, though part of me wanted to get one to squash any worries of someone living in my walls, as per some comments said. I did though plan to leave work early, which is something I've never done before. My boss allowed me to leave after a half day. Upon returning home, nothing seemed amiss. I was expecting another car on the drive or parked outside on the street. There was no other car I didn't recognize. Quietly letting myself in, I was immediately confused. In the hallway there was a pair of shoes I didn't recognize. Not only that, they looked like men's shoes. Standing in the hallway, trying to work out what to do, if I should sneak around or make my presence known, before I could decide, my husband walked out of the kitchen with 2 cups of tea. By the look on my husband's face, it was obvious that he was surprised to see me, playing along with the naivety. I asked my husband how he could have known I was coming home early to make me tea, expecting my husband to lie. He surprised me by sitting me down and explaining everything. At the beginning of lockdown, his friend, someone I'm not all close with because I've only met once, was evicted, lost his job and had been couch surfing. So for some of those days over the past couple of weeks, this guy has been travelling to our house, and with the acceptance of my husband, using our bathroom to freshen up to attend interviews. He He was also borrowing shirts and suits from my husband. As it turns out, my husband's friend has long hair and a beard, so it turns out my husband isn't cheating on me, but he was in fact hiding his long-haired friend who was coming over to use our shower. After his shower, I ended up meeting Dave, and he turned out to be a very nice bloke, just down on his luck. I wished him the best for his socially distanced interview, and he went on his way. I asked my husband why he didn't just tell me, as I wouldn't have had a problem with it. Turns out, he was worried about my reaction and me not liking his friend or approving of the situation. He also told me Dave was very embarrassed about the whole situation and didn't want people to know what he was having to do. I told my husband I was starting to believe he was cheating, and he was shocked, having not even considered those implications while attempting to cover for his friend. I told him the whole thing was ridiculous, and even suggested his friend live with us until he's back on his feet. Funnily enough, my worst case scenario, which was mentioned in the replies, was either a homeless man or woman was living in my walls and sneakily using the shower. And though this seems to be half the case, I'm glad it wasn't a stranger as such that wasn't unwelcome, and someone that wasn't living in my walls. And our final story today, am I the antagonist for my reaction when I got home and found my 6-month-old daughter wearing the same diaper for 9 hours? I, 35 female, have been busy with work. I'm a nurse, and I'm taking care of my 6-month-old baby and her 6-year-old sister. My husband works night shifts 3 nights a week, so he's usually sleeping at home during the day. He got himself a PS5 a month ago. He started spending time playing. He used to handle some of the house chores. Now all he does is make excuses of how tired he is and how much he needs to sleep. But he'd come home from his shift and start playing. He drinks a lot of coffee to stay concentrated and awake. Also, he stopped eating properly. Keeps forgetting to do things I ask him to do, like help fix his daughter's toys or take turns in changing diapers, etc. I started calling my mum to come help since he's been too busy to do simple things. He didn't like that I asked others to help and said that I didn't have to, that he'll start helping again. I actually believed him and left for my 8-hour shift at the hospital, and before I left I reminded him of everything he needed to do, from feeding to changing diapers to cleaning out my daughter's room, etc. He said, "Don't worry about it," and then I left. I called him to check on the kids and he said everything was fine. I came home in the evening and I was shocked to see our 6-month-old's bed was put in the living room, her stuff on the couch, while he was playing. She didn't stop crying. He said he didn't know what was wrong. Turned out he didn't change the diaper after I left. She was wearing the same diaper for 9 hours. He said he forgot because he was busy playing. I immediately took care of her. I knew her rash was going to get worse after that. My 6-year-old's hair was a mess. He didn't brush her hair. The kitchen was a mess. I was livid, kept yelling at him for being neglectful and reckless and literally forgetting about his own kids over a game. He said that I was overreacting and that it was my fault for not reminding him on the phone. I told him it was my fault for leaving the kids with someone who doesn't even know how to brush his own teeth. He got offended and left the house minutes later. His mum called me, telling me that my husband stays up at night to make a living for his kids and that I was pressuring him by giving him more than he could be able to handle. I tried to explain, but she kept lashing out, calling me controlling, and said I might be frustrated from my job and that's why I'm taking it out on him. I hung up on her and had to take care of all that mess. Sorry for any mistakes, I'm just so exhausted. Definitely not the antagonist, but let's see what other people think. Not the antagonist. If my husband did this, him and his PS5 would be out the door. OP responds. You know what he tells me? He says I don't get to tell him when and how much time he should be spending playing because he purchased the PlayStation with his money. And this has annoyed me. It's like he's shaming me for not contributing into that, like it's an important thing. Acceptable letter replies. Again, he could talk until he's blue in the face, I don't care. If my husband let a child sit in their own urination for 8 hours, he would be hearing from my divorce lawyer. I'm sure the pictures of the rash left behind would be good evidence in court. Thank you for watching the video and join us next time where OP asks if he's the antagonist for having 6 wives.